Heimlich. I'm a conservative Republican. I lean libertarian. I also am a follower of Jesus Christ. I call this podcast The Radical Middle. Okay, you've all seen that statue, right, of Lady Justice. It's in almost every courtroom in the country. It's the one where she's got the scales of justice and she's blindfolded. What's the purpose of the blindfold? Well, it's to illustrate the concept that justice in this country is to be blind. In other words, it's to be fair and impartial. It's not to be influenced by any outside powers or officials. It's strictly based on the evidence that's presented in court. During the Watergate scandal, President Nixon was actually ordering the FBI and his Justice Department to investigate and attack his enemies, his political enemies. In fact, the Watergate break-in, this is true, was planned in the office of Nixon's Attorney General. Fortunately, his Attorney General, John Mitchell, the FBI director, and all his other cronies that worked on this scheme were all sent to prison. And since then, we have had a policy in this country that there is to be a complete separation between the president and the Justice Department. The president is not permitted or hasn't been permitted to influence who gets prosecuted, who gets sued, and who's let off. And that system has worked pretty well. But it's now changing. President Trump appointed an attorney general named Pam Bondi, and he has made it very clear that he wants to tell her who to investigate and who to let off. So, for example, Eric Adams, he is the mayor of New York, and he was charged with a host of corruption offenses. And the evidence against him was very, very clear, taking bribes from other countries, things like this. But he kind of became a chum of Donald Trump, and he agreed to help Trump on his deportations and stuff like this. So Trump ordered that the charges against him be dismissed. Trump also ordered that a guy named Miles Taylor be investigated. Miles Taylor was an official in the first Trump administration who wrote a column in the New York Times and a book that criticized Trump and his policies and his behavior. That's all. But for Trump, that's enough. He's being investigated. He's also ordered a guy named Chris Krebs to be investigated. Krebs was head of cybersecurity in the first Trump administration. And when he was asked if the 2020 election was rigged, he said, no, it was the fairest in history. Do you know in Russia, they have courts and cases and lawyers, but the result is determined in advance by Putin or whoever works for Putin. Is that the kind of country we want to have? I don't think so.